This is AP News Minute. The U.S. House overwhelmingly passed a bill forcing the Justice Department to release its files on convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. President Donald Trump has said he will sign the bill if it passes the Senate. Former U.S. Treasury Secretary Larry Summers said Tuesday he'll step back from public life following the release of emails showing he was friendly with Epstein. Summers served as Treasury Secretary under President Clinton and was Harvard's president from 2001 to 2006. President Trump is dismissing U.S. intelligence that Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman was likely involved in the killing of Washington Post journalist Jamal Khashoggi. The comments come as Trump welcomed the de facto ruler on his first White House visit in 7 years. And Macy's on Tuesday unveiled 7 new floats that will appear in the annual Thanksgiving Day parade this year. The lineup includes 16-foot-tall sculptures of the characters Labubu and Makoko, as well as the Demogorgon monster from the Netflix show Stranger Things.
November 19th, 1863.
7 years ago, our fathers brought forth on this continent a new nation.
During the American Civil War, President Abraham Lincoln delivers what becomes known as the Gettysburg Address. He speaks at the dedication of a national cemetery in Pennsylvania, on the site of one of the war's major battles just months earlier. 1977. A step toward peace in the Middle East, as Egypt's President Anwar Sadat becomes the first Arab leader to visit Israel. 2 years later, Israel and Egypt sign a peace treaty, months after President Jimmy Carter helps broker the Camp David Accords in the United States. 1959.
This is the Edsel, unlike any other car you've ever seen.
Ford halts production of the unpopular Edsel after the model's massive flop with America's car shopping public. 1905. Tommy Dorsey, one of swing music's big band leaders along with his brother Jimmy, is born in Shenandoah, Pennsylvania. And 1962.
I'm not really built to be an actor. I don't really have an actor's personality, and I don't make movies to act. I just want to make movies.
Actress Jodie Foster is born in Los Angeles. Among her roles, Taxi Driver, The Accused, The Silence of the Lambs, Contact, and Panic Room. Today in History, November 19th. Tim McGuire, The Associated Press.
hapon po sa inyong lahat. Ako po si Denise Tan. Join us again for a whole hour of stories and conversations about the day's latest headlines.
Ako naman po si Lord de Vera, galing sa simpleng pamilya. Wala mang kapangyarihan, at least walang nagbabangayan. Walang tawagan ng ilong mo, plastic lang. At wala namang bumibelta ng ikaw, pangit na, malaki pang tiyan. Wala mang makukulong, aliw ka naman. Parang sa ganyan ka na lang dinadaan. Family drama o eyes on the prize? Focus muna sa Afternoon Delight.
Okay, today it is the middle of the week and 11 days before November ends. At, 30 days na nga lang po, Pasko na.
Nako,
30 days to go, grabe, ano?
nararamdaman mo ba yung Pasko?
Hindi nga
Maganda ba yun na hindi mo nararamdaman yung Pasko? Ibig sabihin, hindi ka masyado nape-pressure.
Hindi ko sure.
Sabagay, ikaw, maano ka, no? Loving tita ka naman. So, ikaw ay, you welcome it, ano? Imbes sa parang you face the holiday with dread.
Oo naman. Natutuwa naman ako kapag, kapag naglalambing yung mga pamangkin ko. Kahit na feeling ko, paulit-ulit na lang kada may okasyon at yun ang pinapabili. Okay lang, sige.
Para ka palang si Tito Bart natin.
Ano, bakit?
Mapagmahal sa mga pamangkin niya. Pag nag-request ng motor ang binibigay. Bakit? Hindi pa ba humingi ng motor yung pamangkin mo?
Hindi, maliliit yung mga pamangkin ko
Motor na laruan.
Hindi rin.
Iyon. Ang hiling lang naman, ang lambing ng taong bayan sa ilang mga nasa kapangyarihan. Sana man lang may makita kami makulong bago magpasko, di ba?
Ayun na nga.
Tayo ba'y papunta na dyan?
Well,
Alright, the first case involving flood control, may kinalaman sa flood control scam, has been filed. And people have been waiting and watching for months, say, finally, is that it? So mark the date, Tuesday, November 18, the Office of the Ombudsman filed graft and malversation charges against resigned Congressman Zaldico and his firm, Sun West Corporation, and some DPWH officials over the ghost flood control projects in Nauhan, Oriental, Mindoro. Take note, July 28, 2025, unang binanggit ni Pangulong Marcos sa SONA niya ang katiwalian sa mga proyekto na may kinalaman sa flood control, mga kontrabaha. So as we do the math, nagtatanong pa rin ang taong bayan, bakit wala pa rin nasa kulungan?
ayun na nga.
So isipin mo, July 28. Ako, iniisip ko na lang, bilis ng oras. Where did the time go?
Oo nga, July pa pala nag-start to. But, that is the first step. Kahit yung kay Zaldico, na-file ng, I believe, one count of graft, or 2 counts of malversation.
Bago ka makulong, dapat kasuhan ka muna.
Oo. At tsaka, pwede nang kanselahin. I-apply na i-cancela yung kanyang passport kung may kaso daw. Di ba yan ang laging paulit-ulit na sinasabi?
Actually, pwede, kung gagawa nila ng dahilan, pwede na lang, hindi na hintayin yung mga bagay-bagay na yan. Ngayon, ewan natin kung nasaan. At sigurado ako, na with lahat na may kinalaman dito, yung pera sa bangko, nalipat na yan.
Nako.
Pustahan tayo. Pag nagkabukasan ng mga bangko, mahihirap lahat sila. Wala silang pera at maaawa ka talaga.
Oo. Okay.
Magkano yung deposit na minimum? 2,000? Puro 2,000 na lang laman yan.
Grabe naman.
Kawawa naman sila. Anyway, on to our headlines. Senator Ping Lacson confirms 100 billion pesos was inserted into the 2025 national budget, but says President Bongbong Marcos had no hand in it. And here is the report.
Former Congressman Zaldico's claim that 100 billion pesos was slipped into the 2025 national budget is true. That confirmation came from Senate Blue Ribbon Committee Chairman Ping Lacson. But Lacson rejected Co's allegation that President Bongbong Marcos ordered the insertion during the bicameral conference committee.
Yung gusto kasi ng iba, paniwalaan natin na sa Pangulo ang nag-utos mag-insert. But it doesn't make sense to me. Common sense. Siya nag-utos, ibibito niya.
Lacson added it is possible that someone used the president's name to make it appear the instructions came from him.
May mga tao sa Malacanang, not authorized by the president, who misrepresented him.
So how does Lacson know the president had nothing to do with alleged kickbacks in DPWH projects? Former DPWH Undersecretary Roberto Bernardo, who has repeatedly testified before Blue Ribbon hearings on flood control anomalies, reportedly detailed the kickback flow and who actually received the money. It did not go to the president, but to former DepEd Undersecretary Traiguib Olivar, whom Bernardo identified as the point person, who convened meetings on unprogrammed appropriations for the office of the executive secretary. Bernardo also claimed that former Presidential Legislative Liaison Office Chief Adrian Bersamin received kickbacks alongside Olivar.
Sabi niya, naghatid ako ng pera as kickback, but not to the president, but to Yusek Olivar. And sabi niya, ang pagkaalam niya, kasama si Yusek Adrian Bersamin. 8 billion pesos, Mr. President, in at least 10 deliveries. Ang arrangement nila is, may tigisa silang armored van. May armored van si Yusek Olivar, may armored van siya, magpapark sa basement ng Diamond Hotel, darating yung van driven by Olivar, and possibly, sabi niya, hindi siya sigurado, and possibly along with Adrian Bersamin. Bakante yung armored van, ipapark, idadrab yung isang van na puno ng pera.
The biggest single delivery, Bernardo said, happened on March 11, 2 billion pesos for Olivar. Bernardo also claimed he personally delivered 1 billion pesos to former DPWH Secretary Manuel Bonoan. Lacson said he advised Bernardo to write directly to President Marcos. That letter was received in Malacanang earlier this week, followed almost immediately by the resignation of multiple cabinet officials. According to Ombudsman Boying Remulla, the latest revelations did not surprise him.
I had my suspicions already before about the activities of Undersecretary Adrian Bersamin. He was already in my radar for a long time, and it's Traiguib that I just got to learn about later on, Traiguib Olivar, and of course about the involvement of Bina Pangandaman. And I'm not surprised because there may be temptations on the side for that.
Remulla said Undersecretary Bersamin could face charges of conspiracy to commit plunder.
Now, former Executive Secretary Lucas Bersamin says he was forced to leave his post. That's what he told 1PH anchor Cheryl Cosim in an interview earlier this afternoon on One Balita Pilipinas. We are playing portions of that interview, so take a listen.
Sir, you said you did not resign and that someone not from Malacanang called you on November 17 to say you had to go as ES. Sino po ang tumawag po sa inyo?
I will not disclose who that person is because I respect him and he's a very close friend of mine. No? But he was trusted with that responsibility. Sabihin sa akin na I had to go. Yun lang. When something is delivered like that, a message, I do not hesitate because it's not my going to cause a problem with me dahil sa pleasure ni President ako.
Opo. So, ang malinaw po ay galing po talaga sa palasyo, pero nautusan po itong kaibigan po ninyo na very close sa inyo na siya ang magsabi po sa inyo.
Yes, yun ang understanding ko.
Opo. Ito po bang inyong kaibigan, kahit hindi po natin pangalanan, ay someone close also to the President?
Well, I presume that because the message was very clear that I had to go. Ako naman, hindi naman ako linta. O, tiga. I got the message and I had no problem. But I just would like na ituwid yung news na nag-resign ako out of delicadeza. Magandang pakinggan yun pero hindi naman yan ang nangyari. Okay? Kung out of delicadeza na nag-resign ako, di mayroon sana sulat sila na lalabas. But they accepted nothing. They accepted not my resignation. Ang sulat na sinulat ko kay Presidente, pinirmahan ko lang ng towards the end of yesterday before I left the office to bring out my things. And that was the only time I wrote a letter. And in that letter, I did not even say I resigned. I only said that I am submitting myself to the President's discretion, to the President's prerogative. Wala naman. Di naman issue sa akin yan.
May nakikita po ba kayong koneksyon sa biglaang pag-alis ninyo bilang Executive Secretary at sa mga aligasyong kinakaharap ngayon ng inyong pong nephew na si Undersecretary Adrian Bersamin?
Si Adrian, hindi ko nephew yan. Grandson yan nung older brother ko na na-assassinate noong 2006.
Apo.
Pero he has been working with me and under me since the Supreme Court days ko pa. Undersecretary ang level ng kanyang trabaho sa ES, sa OES. Ano? Aywan ko kung connected ito sa mga aligasyon. Pero yung pagkadala ng messaging sa akin, hindi ko alam kung connected or not. But I presume na may kinalaman.
Sir, ayon po kay Ombudsman Boying Remulla, kasama po kayo sa pwedeng makasuhan ng conspiracy to commit plunder. Ano po ang inyong masasabi rito?
Hindi ko sasagutin yan dahil hindi ko pa nga nakikita or naririnig yung sinabi niya. Ano? Pero kung sabihin nila na mastermind ako, iba naman ang thinking ko dyan. So, hindi ako magsasalita tungkol dyan. Kung mayroon silang gustong ilabas na demanda sa akin, ilabas nila. Ayoko nang masyadong mabigat or matagal na pag-uusap tungkol dyan dahil I'm ready to stand up and to back my innocence. I am not that kind of person na nag-hesitate or natatakot. I will defend myself. Huwag lang nilang siraan ako bago nila gawin.
Okay, time out muna. Marami pa kaming kwento sa inyo at magbabalik po ang Afternoon Delight. This is still Afternoon Delight on One News. Ako po si Lourdes Vera.
At ako naman po si Denise Tan. Magandang hapon po muli.
Alright. The Senate offered necrological services for its late Senate President Juan Ponce Enrile. And for the details, we have mobile journalist Merrimon Reyes. Merrimon, okay, narinig ko kanina, dating Pangulong Gloria Macapagal Arroyo, Robin Padilla, dating Senator Dick Gordon, at Jinggoy Estrada. Bukod sa kanila, sino-sino pang mga prominenteng personalidad ang present at nagsalita sa service?
Lord Denise, bukod dito sa mga nabanggit mo kanina, ilang mga prominent figures na nakita natin is si former Senator Nancy Binay, ngayon Makati Mayor, siya plus itong pamilya ang Ponce Enrile family, sina Katrina Ponce Enrile nandoon kanina. And pagdating doon sa mga senador, daw hindi kompleto yung mga current senators na nakita natin kanina, sila Senator Sherwin Gatchalian, Senator Ping Lacson, Senator Erwin Tulfo, Senator Robin Padilla, Senate President Tito Soto, Senator Bongo, Senator Rodante Marcoleta, Senator Mark Villar, Senator J.V. Ejercito, and Senator Jinggoy Estrada, among others. Kasama pa dyan sila Senator Kiko Pangilinan, Senator Riz Hontiveros na kanina around 8:45 in the morning, dumating na nga dito yung casket una para sa arrival honors na isinagawa, and then 9 o'clock a.m. nag-start naman yung necrological service dito sa Senado. And karamihan actually lahat naman ng mga nag-eulogy, binagbalik tanaw sila doon sa legasiya and sa kontribusyon na iniwan nga ni Manong Johnny or si tinatawag na si JPE o si former Senate President Juan Ponce Enrile. Bukod dyan, nasabi rin kanina ni former President and Congresswoman ng Pampanga 2nd District na si Gloria Macapagal Arroyo, binalikan niya yung pagiging tapat sa kanyang pamilya ni JPE, lalong-lalo na raw sa kanyang ama na si Diosdado Macapagal at sa kanya mismo noong siya'y naharap sa isang pagdinig sa Senado. For former Senator Dick Gordon naman, inalala niya raw yung unang pagkakataon na nakausap niya ito si JPE. Nag-aaral pa raw siya ng law noon, and yun daw yung kasagsagan na humahanap daw siya ng hustisya para nga sa kanyang amang papinas lang. Sinabi daw sa kanya dito ni JPE, humingi siya, Justice Secretary pa nung time na to si JPE, humingi ng tulong, ng assistance, and then sinabi pa daw sa kanya ni JPE, pagtapos na raw at abogado na raw itong si Gordon, pumasok daw sa opisina niya. So yun daw yung tumatak dito kay former Senator Gordon, and yung invitation daw na yun, rooted daw yun sa friendship, hindi raw sa politics. At sinabi pa nga dito ni Gordon, he never fled the country, inaatake siya kaliwat kanan, hindi siya nagpakitang naka-wheelchair. Yun yung sinisignify niya na sa kasaysayan o sa panahon na nandito si JPE, nanindigan daw siya at tinahak niya yung mga desisyon na kinakatakutang gawin ng ibang mga tao. Sinabi rin kanina ni Senate President Tito Soto, nung namaalam na siya dito kay JPE, alam niya naman daw na happy itong si Enrile. Nagpasalamat din si Katrina Ponce doon sa pagmamahal at pagtangkilik na ibinuhos sa kanyang ama, lalo-lalo nung nagbigay na ng kopya ang Senado ng Senate Resolution number 30. Ito yung pakikiramay nila dito kay JPE at yung pagkilala, lalong-lalo na sa kanyang naging papel sa kasaysayan. Balik sa inyo.
Oo, si Senator Estrada naman, ay hindi rin makalimutan yung mga times na hindi raw talagang iniwan ni JPE.
Yes. Naging mentor niya.
Oo. You can take it in several ways, yung pagiging mentor. Pero makikita mo rin yung kay Dick Gordon din, may funny anecdote doon na may kinalaman sa kanilang mga fraternities, no? Kasi parang tinanong daw kung anong frat ni Dick Gordon. Parang, pareho yata sila ng frat ni nung boss din ni Enrile na si President Marcos. Sabi, it takes a genius to a genius Upsilonian to appoint a genius Sigma Rhoan, parang gano'n. Oo.
Inabutan ko lang kanina yung sinasabi ni Senator Gordon na may mga times na nagtatalo rin sila, di pagkakasundo. Pero when it comes to, making sure na magbe-benefit ang Pilipinas, ay doon naman sila talagang nag-agree.
Makikita mo pa rin, ang daming mga henerasyon natin, hindi alam yung mga ugnayan nitong mga taong ito. Halimbawa, hindi natin alam, o konti ba lang nakakaalam na nung pinakita daw ni Gordon, itong plano para sa Subic tsaka sa Clark, instantly na-recognize daw agad ni Enrile yung potential. At in-apply eventually doon sa Freeport sa Cagayan. Si Gloria Arroyo naman, yun nga, nung panahon na nasa kapangyarihan na itong si Enrile ay hindi raw binigyan ng hard time yung kanyang father sa pag-asikaso sa mga gawaing gobyerno. Pero sa kanyang autobiography, si Enrile ay may detalye involving Gloria Arroyo. Kinukumbinsi raw ni GMA itong si Manong Johnny din na sumama sa campaign ni Macapagal at huwag sumama kay Marcos. At may kinalaman pa si Enrile doon sa pag-file against the Board of Censors nung pinipigil yung showing ng pelikula na supposedly talang buhay ni Marcos yung ginuhit ng tadhana. Ayan. Pero, Marymon, from here, from the Senate, ano ang mangyayari? Diretso na ba agad sa libing ng bayani?
Lord, kanina, after kasi nung pinaka-necrological service, mayroon munang pakain dito sa Senado and then public viewing para sa empleyado o sa mga kawani ng media na nandito na nais pang masilayan itong si JPE. Sa nakuha nating impormasyon, pagkatapos ng necrological service, dinala daw or dadalhin sa Camp Aguinaldo sa DND itong labi ni JPE para rin daw sa arrival honors. And then sa nakuha din nating information mula sa announcement naman ni Katrina Ponce Enrile, gaganapin ang paglibing o ni JPE sa November 22 sa libingan ng mga bayani. 8 a.m. isasagawa yung funeral mass at susundan agad ito ng paglilibing ni kay JPE. Pero so far, starting nitong lumipas na linggo, may mga public viewing din. And sa huli din natin nakita yung sa Dasmariñas, Cavite, meron pang last public viewing November 21 and then 22, paglilibing na kay JPE. Lord.
Ano kaya significance sa Dasmariñas, Cavite? Oo.
Oo, wala rin pa tayong doon. Pero
sa mga, kunyari sa mga curious, yung gusto makita yung mga labi ng dating Senate President and Secretary of Justice and Defense and Finance. Wala na ba pagkakataon, maliban sa mga binanggit mo, yung open sa publiko?
So far, yun lang yung nakita talaga natin. Nung natanong din natin, kapag dinilabang ngayon sa Camp Aguinaldo, meron din mga public viewing doon. Ang nasabi lang sa atin sa mga nakausap natin ng mga security officials ni na JPE, hindi daw nila sure kasi ang alam nila may arrival honors lang daw na gagawin doon. And more likely, baka iuwi raw sa kanila. Tapos, the next is yung public viewing na nakita natin sa Cavite. And then, sunod na nun is yung sa libingan na ng mga bayani, which ini-invite pa rin naman ni Katrina Ponce Enrile. Lahat para na may nais pang masulyapan itong si JP hanggang sa huling sandali.
Nako, may makakasama na siya doon. Dati niyang boss. Diba?
Doon nga pala, no? Okay.
Doon yun. Okay, sa ibang issue naman, ano yung later sa plenary debates tungkol sa budget? May pag-uusad ba? May matindi bang mga palitan na mga kuro-kuro, etc., etc.?
So far, yan ang aabangan natin kasi dahil nagkaroon ng necrological service ng umaga, medyo nausog yung oras ng pagpapatuloy ng plenary budget deliberations or debate. Ngayong hapon, kasi simula lang ngayong around 2 o'clock in the afternoon, ang isasalang is yung budget ng Judiciary, budget ng DMW, Department of Migrant Workers, pati ng Congress of the Philippines, which includes ang Senado, ang Senate Electoral Tribunal, Commission on Appointment, CA, ang House of Representatives, pati ang Electoral Tribunal ng Kamara. So antabayanan muna natin, pero so far naman, smooth sailing pa yung mga lumipas na araw, bukod na lang sa inaasahan natin na BICAM na nasabi rin dito ni Finance Committee Chair Senator Sherwin Gatchalian, maaaring magkaroon ng mas matagal na pag-uusap lalong-lalo na sa counterpart nila sa Kamara patungkol sa unappropriated funds.
Marimon, kailan naman yung susunod na Blue Ribbon hearing at may inaasahan din ba ulit na VIP witness?
So far, Denise, wala pang confirmed schedule yung kasunod na Blue Ribbon Committee hearings. Ang laging sinasabi rin dito ni Senator Ping Lacson, Blue Ribbon Chair, ang tinitingnan nila dito, blindfold approach, kung ano yung lalabas na ebidensya, that will lead yung pinakadireksyon ng komite. So aantabayanan muna natin, lalo pa yung mga ibinunsad din ni former DPWH Undersecretary Roberto Bernardo. Marami rin pagtapik-tapik mga pangalan na confirm yung 100 billion peso na insertion, pero hindi raw yung Pangulo ang nakakuha o nakatanggap ng kickbacks, kundi sila DepEd Yusek Trigue Olaivar, itong si Adrian Bersamin. So yun yung ilan pa sa mga antabayanan natin kung paano tatahakin ng Blue Ribbon ang mga ito. Pero ang malinaw, after nitong flood control projects, actually yun hinintay din natin kung second to the last na ba o dadagdagan pa yung pagdinig on flood control. Ang sunod naman ay yung farm to market roads na in-endorse ni Senator Sherwin mula sa kanilang hearing kasama naman ng Department of Agriculture.
Alright, Marimon, as the late Senator likes to say, gusto ko
happy ka.
Sana masaya ba tayong lahat? Yan ang we have the rest of our lives to figure out. Pero maraming salamat ang ating mobile journalist, Marimon Reyes. Thanks, Marimon.
Okay, moving on, the Supreme Court has denied the very urgent motion of Senator Ronald Bato de la Rosa seeking to compel Ombudsman Boying Remulla to produce an alleged ICC arrest warrant. The petition asked the High Tribunal to order the government to confirm or deny any ICC-related warrants or communications. The High Court instead directed respondents to comment on the petitioner's manifestation within 10 days. Meantime, Remulla told One News' Storycon that he's standing by his word that the arrest warrant against De La Rosa will be released very soon. When asked if the Philippine government will surrender the senator to the foreign court, Remulla said he would not oppose it if that's the decision of the executive department.
I will stand by my word that there's a warrant. It will arrive officially very soon.
In short, we will surrender him.
Well, if that's the position of the executive department, I wouldn't disagree with them. Because when I was there, that's what we did.
And here are our other stories this Wednesday, November 19. The Visayas grid has been placed under yellow alert from 3 p.m. to 8 in the evening today. That's due to thin power reserves resulting from outages in several plants. The yellow alert is issued when the operating margin is too low to meet grid contingency requirements. The Armed Forces of the Philippines says it is investigating what it describes the unusual logistical and financial support behind last weekend's rally at the People Power Monument in Quezon City. Rear Admiral Roy Vincent Trinidad says the event appeared highly organized and well-funded, with catering and support services that suggest possible domestic or even foreign backing. United People's Initiative convener Romeo Poques denies the claims. UPI led the three-day rally that was cut short after the QC-LGU withdrew permit for alleged seditious statements said in the protest. Group Isambayan clarifies it had no involvement in the recent two-day rally at the Carino Grandstand in Manila. The group said it supports government accountability and transparency but was not connected to the protest led by Iglesia Ni Cristo. It also reiterated support for the trillion peso march in EDSA happening on November 30, Bonifacio Day. Progressive group Akbayan, the church, and civil society organizations say the call to end political dynasties will be a key highlight of the November 30 sequel of the Trillion Peso March. The groups stress that the youth must inherit the future and public offices should not be treated as family property. The clergy-led action is also set for November 23 at the EDSA Shrine as a lead-up to the main protest action. And the United States has exempted most Philippine agricultural exports from its reciprocal tariff. U.S. President Donald Trump signed an executive order removing levy on goods not produced in the U.S. that include coconut oil, coconut water, desiccated coconut, fruit juices, processed pineapples, bananas, tuna, fillets, and dried fruits. The exemptions are over $1 billion worth.
In other news, amid a very public feud involving his family and the flood control scam probe, it is business as usual for President Bongbong Marcos. His activities this Wednesday include the reopening of the PhilSports complex in Pasig. Before today, Marcos was tagged in a multi-billion peso budget insertion and, by his sister, illegal drug use. Now, the palace says resignation is not an option for the president. And more from this report.
President Bongbong Marcos pressed on with his duties despite allegations from his sister, Senator Amy Marcos, accusing him of illegal drug use. Yesterday, the president visited Kararayan Naga Elementary School to personally deliver assistance to residents affected by the devastation of Super Typhoon Uwan. He also led a situation briefing with cabinet members as well as national and local officials to assess the typhoon's impact in Albay and ensure continuous relief and rehabilitation efforts. The palace affirmed that President Marcos is fully focused on his work and will not be swayed by groups calling for his removal from office. According to Palace Press Officer Undersecretary Claire Castro, calls for the president to resign are coming from Duterte supporters, who she said want the vice president to assume the presidency.
So kailangan pa po bang i-memorize ito? Lahat naman yata ng supporter ng Vice Presidente ang nais ay paalisin sa pwesto ang Pangulo. Bakit? Para pumalit ang Vice Presidente? So, option ba ito? The President is still working and keeps on working for the country. So hindi po opsyon sa administrasyon, sa Pangulo ang pagbibitiw. Ang Pangulo ay matapang na haharapin kung ano man ang suliranin ng bansa.
The palace also hit back at Senator Amy Marcos' criticisms. Castro reiterated that the issue surrounding the president's drug test was resolved long ago, with negative results already made public.
Hindi po tayo magpapadala kung ano ang sinasabi ng mga maiingay. Matagal na po itong naresolba. Uulit-ulitin ko paulit-ulit. Ang Pangulo po ay malinis at ang Pangulo po ay hindi magpapadala sa anumang pag-uudyok. Pag-uudyok ng mga destabilizers, pag-uudyok ng mga obstructionists na walang gagawin kundi magbigay ng mga kondisyon, magbigay ng pag-uutos sa Pangulo kahit hindi na po ito naaayon sa kanyang pagtatrabaho.
She added that a hair follicle test is unnecessary, stressing that the accusations have no factual basis.
Pagmamahal ba ang paninira sa sariling kapatid? Paninirang walang basihan. Kitang-kita nyo na ang Pangulo ang gusto niyang sirain, pero ang pinoproteksyonan niya ay yung may issue tungkol sa korupsyon na si Vice Presidente. Hindi man lang niya iningayan ang patungkol sa issue ng confidential funds. Kita niyo naman kung saan siya patungo, kaya wala siyang gagawin kundi isang desperadong aksyon. Sirain ang Pangulo para proteksyonan ang kanyang mga kaalyado.
Alright, still about family problems. The administration dismisses Senator Amy Marcos' allegations against President Marcos as mere noise. It says the sole purpose of the allegations is to place Vice President Sara Duterte eventually in Malacanang. And News 5 correspondent Mon Gualvez reports.
Pinalulutang na hindi siya tunay na kapatid. Yan ang paratang ni Senadora Amy Marcos sa presidential son na si Congressman Sandro Marcos. Pero ayon sa senadora, solusyon lang dito ay magpapa-DNA test siya basta magpa-hair follicle drug test ang first family. Sa isa pang post, sinabi naman niya sa mga Ilocano na wag daw siyang alalahanin. Pero mag-ingat daw mga ito mula sa palasyo at kay Congressman Sandro. Sa panayam sa 1PH program na sa totoo lang, sinagot naman niya ni Palace Press Officer Claire Castro.
Ang Pangulo ay mahal ang mga Ilocano. So ba't mandadamay siya at parang pag-ingatin na parang merong gagawing masama sa mga Ilocano? Huwag siya mandamay, solo niya lang yan.
Sa kabila rin daw ng mga akusasyon ng presidential sister na gumagamit ng illegal na droga ang first family, tuloy lang daw sa pagtatrabaho si Pangulong Bongbong Marcos. Hindi rin nagpapaapekto si PBBM sa mga ganitong ingay na wala umanong kwenta.
Halata namang scripted, tignan niyo yung papel niya, gano'ng kakapal. Binasa niya pa. So, ibig sabihin, coordinated ang moves nila. Desperado para masira ang Pangulo.
Tingin ng Malacanang, ang layunin daw ng paninira, umalis sa pwesto ang Pangulo.
Sino ipapalit niya? Yun ang tanong natin. Sino ipapapalit niya? Si VP Sara? Ang VP Sara natin, merong issue sa korupsyon. Ang daming issue.
Tinawag din nilang propaganda ang sinabi ni Vice President Sara Duterte na meron umanong krisis sa pamumuno. Si bago Executive Secretary Ralph Recto naman, tiniyak na mananatiling stable ang administrasyon.
Political noise lang lahat yan. As far as we're concerned, we will improve governance.
Binatikos naman ni Davao Congressman Paulo Duterte si DILG Secretary John Vic Remulla na iimbestigahan ang umano'y seditious comments sa mga rally. Hirit ng kongresista, hindi lahat ng may ayaw sa administrasyon ay katumbas na ng sedition. Hindi raw lahat ng kritisismo ay banta sa national security. Ang kapwa niya kongresistang si Cavite Congressman Kiko Barzaga nababahala naman daw sa mga aligasyon ni Senadora Amy laban kay PBBM. Posible raw kasi nitong maapektuhan ng pagtingin sa Pilipinas ng international community. Isa si Barzaga sa may kinaharap na kasong inciting to sedition at inciting to rebellion. Naghain na siya ng apela kaugnay nito sa Quezon City Prosecutor's Office. Giit ng kongresista, politically motivated lang ang mga reklamo dahil wala umano siyang ginagawang mali.
First Lady Liza Raneta Marcos hit back at what she called fake news after Senator Amy Marcos linked her and President Bongbong Marcos to illegal drug use. On Facebook, the First Lady debunked a viral social media post claiming she insulted her sister-in-law. The fabricated quote reads in part, "Yang mga statements mo fake kasing fake ng mukha mong retokada."
Ooh.
Prior to this, Mrs. Marcos shared photos from a meeting with foreign filmmakers. She captioned the photos with "Welcome to Entertainment Pinoy Style. Only in the Pinas will you find a plot full of holes and actors who can't deliver a climax that leaves entire communities underwater." The words plot, actors, and climax were italicized. Now we also give you a quick look at stories from our media partners. The Philippine Star is reporting about the armed forces contradicting a China state media's report that it monitored Chinese bomber formations in the West Philippine Sea. That's during a joint maritime exercise with the United States and Japan last week that ran from November 14 to 15. And on Business World, one headline reads, Quezon City now accounts for 6% of Philippine GDP. QC generated the biggest share of the gross domestic product in 2024 at 1.33 trillion pesos, underscoring the economy's continued reliance on urban centers for growth. The cities of Makati and Manila also had a substantial contribution to the national GDP at 5.4% and 4.7% respectively. And for more details of these stories, you can visit the social media pages of the Philippine Star and Business World. Do check out as well the social media platforms of One News PH for the very latest news.
All right, QC represent. Pero at this point, we head down south and we bring in one new Cebu desk, Dale Israel. Dale, all right, what is the latest from your end?
Mayang hapon, Lord and Denise. We are reporting live here from Cebu Capital, where the Provincial Health Office is now warning of possible spike in leptospirosis following the widespread flooding that hit several communities here in Cebu. Health consultant Dr. Nicole Catalan confirmed that around 19 individuals are currently admitted in provincial hospitals due to suspected leptospirosis. Meanwhile, the Department of Health also has recorded 23 cases across government and private hospitals in Cebu. Dr. Catalan is urging residents who believe that they may have been exposed to floodwater to immediately visit their nearest health center and avail of free doxycycline medication being provided by the government. Most of the confirmed cases are from the town of Balamban, but health officials say all of the hospitals are now on high alert for leptospirosis symptoms. Authorities stress that the situation is not yet in alarming level, but residents are reminded to remain vigilant, especially those in flooded areas. Health officials also have noted that many residents are refusing to take doxycycline due to lack of health education and misinformation about the medication. The Provincial Health Office assures the public that they are continually informing residents on these leptospirosis incidents. Meanwhile, in today's press briefing, Lord, provincial environment experts presented their conclusion on what caused the extensive flooding during the Typhoon Tino, and according to them, it is much of it was human-induced. Aldrin Emphasis said that it was not strong enough. The typhoon was not strong enough. Widespread damage of flooding was said that it is caused by. The flooding got out of control because of human elements. One example he cited is in Barangay Kotkot in Liloan, where the natural course of a river had been diverted for unknown reasons. When Tino hit, the river reclaimed its original path, resulting in massive flooding in nearby communities. Due to these findings, Emphasis confirmed that there will be a meeting with DPWH Secretary Vince Dizon on Friday to discuss the capital's drainage and flooding master plan called Task Force Baha. The master plan will cover water management, forest reserves, and regulation of private affect natural drainage pathways. Another major concern highlighted this morning was the province's rapidly depleting calamity fund. After the September 30 earthquake and the impact of Typhoon Tino last November 4, the province's calamity fund has dropped from 1.5 billion to only 500 million pesos remaining. Emphasis said that most of these funds were used to feed evacuees and displaced families. This does not yet include those for their building materials, which will be charged under the 2026 annual budget yet. Emphasis warned that 500 will no longer be enough if another calamity hits Cebu, and with the most destructive typhoons typically arriving in Cebu in December, like Typhoon Odette, the provincial government says that they are hoping. Back to you, Lord and Denise.
All right. Yan po ang ating One News Cebu desk, Dale Israel. Thanks, Dale. And this is still Afternoon Delight on One News. We just need to pause for another break and we will be right back. And you are still watching Afternoon Delight. We thank you for staying with us.
At ang ating delight of the day ngayon, meron tayong tosilog. Hilig. Okay, tosino, sinangag, at itlog. Agahan for late tanghalian tayo today.
Actually, kahit hapunan, pwede yan.
Oo.
Walang pinipili ang lahat na may silog.
Oo nga, I was about
Kahit
to
si
say.
Elvis Presley, yung bangkay niya, hiwaan mo yung katawan, basta may sinangag at itlog, pasok pa rin yan. In a manner of speaking.
Sige. Okay.
O, ikaw ba, para sa akin yung CDO Young Pork Tocino, Young Pork ang best.
Ano ba yun? Do they take care of you ba?
Kumita ako dyan.
Ayan.
Hello sa mga taga-CDO.
Hello po. Okay, sige. Ito na ang ating mga stories on social media. Di mo ba titikman yung take out mo yan, no?
Relax ka lang.
Okay.
Ikaw, huwag sabihin pamimigay mo yan.
Kumain na ako
Binantaan mo na nga si Kuya Glenn kanina.
Ano?
Sabi mo, hindi, huwag na.
Okay. Sige, ito una natin
Ito,
storya.
banta. Ayan.
On USA Today, US President Donald Trump tells a reporter, quote, "Quiet piggy," over a question about Jeffrey Epstein files.
Grabe, no? Medyo napipiko na si Trump ngayon kasi medyo talo siya ngayon, So, nag-pile up yung mga bagay-bagay. Eventually, ang the House decides to votes to release the Epstein files. At yun nga, so major setback ito kay Donald Trump. At dahil din sa MAGAverse, naging issue rin itong Epstein files na ito, no? And the longer he had to, sweep the issue under the rug, lalo nang umaalingasaw. At atong reporter na nagtanong, parang follow-up question to
niya, that's right. Kasi una, nung tinanong siya about the Jeffrey Epstein in his emails, mga ganyan, sumagot itong si President Trump. Pero parang kumbaga nag-move on na siya sa susunod na reporter. Pero the first one who asked him, nag-follow up nga, tapos dyan niya sinabi yung quiet piggy.
Quiet piggy.
Grabe,
Alam mo naman, payat-payat niya, no? Hoy, nakita mo na ba yung katawan mo, Donald Trump? Di may picture ni Trump pag nagtitennis.
Ay, hindi ko pa nasa-search.
Ay, naku, hindi, nakita mo na yan.
Nakita ko na ba?
It's something you cannot unsee.
Ayun.
Pero anyways, nasa-stress ngayon to, nasa Air Force One pa, di ba? Iisipin mo, parang teritoryo niya yun eh. Pag ganun, you move gingerly around someone as stressed as Donald Trump. Magsi-stress eating tuloy ngayon.
Naku,
Pero alam maganda dito. Doon sa isa sa mga email supposedly na nilabas, part ng Epstein file, si Jeffrey Epstein ay may email sa kanyang kapatid na si Mark Epstein. Yung laman ng email, supposedly parang about Putin at si Trump daw blowing baba. Yun ang words na gamit. Okay, so ang baba usually ginagamit, nickname daw ni Bill Clinton. So, no way. Dito sa Pilipinas, nagtatawagan tayo ng mga sister-in-law ng kung ano-ano, adik, kapatid. Pero sa Amerika ka lang makakahanap ng akusasyon that one president is giving oral pleasure to another. O ibang
Ako,
baba daw yun.
mahaba-habang usapan
Pero anyway,
to. Oo.
oo, at ito na lang tayo, kumain na lang tayo ng processed food.
Nako, ito nga ang storya on the Philippine Star via Life. Yung ultra-processed foods daw, or UPF, is a rising threat to health according to researchers.
No
Parang wala
freaking
namang bago sa
way.
storyang to.
Di nga!
Nasaan na nga ba yun? Ito.
Balita yan kung ano talaga, no? Balita yan kung healthy pala actually. In fact, si Juan Ponce Enrile, according sa speech ni Jingoy Estrada, talagang fish and vegetables, but towards the end of his life, ang nire-request daw niya, yung carne norte na produkto ng anak niya. So, hahaba kaya yung buhay ni Manong Johnny kung hindi siya tumitira ng corned beef?
Ganon?
Huwag ganon.
Oh.
Sarap
Everything in
po,
moderation lang naman. Kasi
Yes.
actually, even if you eat fast food, sinasabi nila, high sugar, high salt. Salt and sugar is still essential in our daily intake.
Tsaka,
diba?
Sa mga mapanghusgang mga dietitian, excuse me lang po, no? Hindi naman parang choice ito ng mga tao. Nagkataon lang po kasi na yung mga nasa lata, na hindi madaling masira, ay yun lang po ang kaya ng mga tulad
Correct.
namin. Ang mga, ang tawag yung mga organic, whole food, etc.
Ang mahal.
Hindi po namin kaya yan, yung mga
Oo.
binibenta po sa mga real foods o whole foods. Yung mga doon sa mamahalin ng mga grocery, na ang tulad ko ay walang magagawa ang 500 piso.
Tsaka yung yung mga easy to cook, let's say, yung mga noodles, yung sabaw din kasi, yung pampainit lang nung tiyan, laman tiyan,
Yun lang
diba?
Kasi spread out yung ulam.
Yun na nga, na-extend mo kasi to more members of the family.
Oo, at sinasabi, carbo loading yan. Wala kaming makain eh.
Oo, walang pambili ng protina eh. Anong gagawin natin? Diba?
Mag-source ng ibang pagkukunan ng protina, pero wag na natin pag-usapan yan.
Itong pag-usapan natin,
mapadpad.
Philippine Star pa rin.
Yan.
Here are the bank credit cards supported by Google Pay in the Philippines.
Google Pay?
Oo,
Aba.
naglabas na ng listahan.
Parang late na yata yan ah. Kasi Apple Pay, matagal lang ginagawa yan. May Apple Pay ka ba?
Wala. Kahit nung yun yung ginagamit ko, hindi ako nag-Apple Pay.
Isipin niyo parang Maya, no? Or any digital wallet. Ganun lang yan. Tatapat mo lang. Titititit. Yun na. Pero Google, ano pa ba ang ibang features nito?
Well, ang sabi kasi dito, it's safe daw kasi it actually keeps the details of your card. So si Google daw will just send a virtual account number to the merchant instead of your actual details. So, ayan, yung mga listahan, ng mga cards. Sabihin ba natin yung mga cards?
Parang wala na, hindi naman mga major banks itong mga to ah. Oo, wala dyan. Kung
Yung
saan,
mga-
yung nagdalaman ng milyones mo, dinistan, wala
Nako.
dyan. Tama?
Wish ko lang.
O yung 3 letra na bangko.
Oo, 2 yun, na 3 letra.
Kaya nga, kasi hindi na raw nila makayanan yung laki ng iyong
Ganon?
savings. Eh.
Ako ba kami maniwala? Okay, sige, yan po ang ating mga storya today. If you wanna try this out, sige, punta po sa
Subukan
inyong mga
natin.
app stores.
Kasi di ba Google na yung pinaka-default natin na search. Well, hindi lang search yung nagagawa ng
Hindi,
Google.
tsaka it's
Marami pa.
convenient din naman. Let's say, ako mahilig akong maglakad-lakad, di ba? If I don't wanna bring like an extra card, extra cash, so if you wanna try this out, pwede nyo namang subukan, di ba? Tapos tanggalin nyo kagad yung card nyo if you don't feel secure.
Correct.
Why not?
Lalo na kung naka-Android ka, bagay na bagay yung Google. Alright, yung Google po, hindi po nilalagay sa mata. Minsan, mapagkalinga, minsan, mapanakit. Hindi po yan si Denise Tan. Ito po ang Eyes on the Science. Today's edition, Binibining Tan ay, you know you're getting older when... ...
Sige nga.
Para sa iyo to, Denise Tan, ah.
You know you're getting older when you know all the answers but nobody asks you the questions.
Sakit naman nun. Parang ano yan, ah. Parang riddle sa buhay yan, ah.
Ganon?
Okay.
Okay,
Next,
sige,
you know
next.
your damatans when
Damatan.
your knees buckle but your belt won't. Aray ko.
Merong pananakit din dito Okay, next.
Papanda rin kayo. Next. You know you're getting older when people call 9 p.m. and ask, did I wake you up?
To be fair, baka may edad na rin yung mga kaibigan ko. So wala na tumatawag sa akin ng 9 p.m.
No, tsaka baka yung sa work ang nila ay sa BPO. Minsan irregular yung mga schedule nila, di ba? Mas hanip yung mga yun. Kasi nakakapag-inuman sila ng
Umaga,
2
no?
a.m., 3 a.m., 4 a.m.
Oh, meron pa daw isa,
You know
last
you're
one.
getting older when
Everything hurts and what doesn't hurt doesn't work.
hindi ko na-gets.
Ako nakarelate lang ako doon sa everything hurts.
Everybody hurts.
Nga, medyo...
Ulitin na, what doesn't work, what doesn't hurt, doesn't work. Okay. May sexual innuendo ba ito?
Tuloy na lang natin bukas ang usapan. Sige, pag may nakita po kayo mga ganyang klaseng signs, please send them to afternoondelightON@gmail.com.
Alright. Binabati po natin ang lahat ng mga bata at lalong-lalo na ang mas maraming mga nakatatandang nanonood sa atin. Pero hindi po kasama dyan si Alfred Yuso ng Philippine Star.
My mom, my dad, papa. Mama, papa, happy anniversary!
Sa tatay ko, nalilito pa rin sa panonood ng programang to. Anak niyo po ako. Yan.
Okay, Tito Radal, Tita Jane, Katapia, thank you for watching everyday. Salamat po. Okay, yan pa. Bawi tayo bukas, ha? That will have to do it for us. This is Hump Day Wednesday. Thank you for watching Afternoon Delight. Ako po, si Denise Tan.
Your humps. You're lovely. Join us again tomorrow, 2 p.m. Ako po si Lord De Vera, kapatid. We are One News, all sides, all the time. Have a delightful afternoon.
a accusation or